could be us.
So back to what I was saying.
Could be us.
What's going on, y'all? Back with another YouTube video. I know a lot of y'all been asking me to make a settings video for a long while, and I'm just now getting onto it. I've been real lazy about it, but I'm about to start coming to y'all with some real good videos. It's gonna be videos more than just bot lobby. I'm finna start doing tutorials on Legends, on Legend series, on how they should be played, and the do's and don'ts. And yeah, it's finna be good. But let's go ahead and get into this settings video real quick. Alright, so for the gameplay settings, you want to have your first setting, the interact setting. You need to have it on compact so it can take up as least amount of space on the screen as possible. If you have it on default, it's just going to show you details about the guns or items you're picking up. And if you're already a veteran on Apex, there's no reason for you to be seeing what's the details about the guns, because you already know what they are. The button hints, I have them off because I know all my button settings. So it's no reason to have them on unless you're new to the game or you're trying new settings and you're trying to remember what buttons your settings are. But that's not the case for me, so I keep it off. You need to take your crosshair damage feedback and put it on X with icon. If you don't have it on this setting, you won't know what type of shield the person you're shooting at has. It's not going to show you the icon indicating what shield level they have, so you're going to put it yourself at a disadvantage if you don't know what type of shield the person you're going against has. You want to make sure your damage numbers are on both, because if you have it on any other setting, it's only going to show the amount of damage the gun does, and it's not going to show you the overall damage that you're doing. But if you have it on both, it's going to show you the combined number for all damage that you're doing. Instead of just showing you 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, it's going to start counting them numbers up together so you know how much damage you're fully doing. Your ping opacity, I probably butchered that word. Opacity. I don't care. I literally do not care. I keep it on faded because if you have it on default, it's a solid black, or it's a solid red or yellow or whatever type of ping you're doing, and it kind of gets in the way of your aiming if you're aiming in that direction. Obituaries, I keep these on. You don't really have to keep these on. These just showing the kills and death that's happening in your game. I just like to have them on just in case I get in a game with a friend or something and I see if they still alive or they getting kills or whatever, and I get to try to kill them just for fun. So it's not really a necessary setting, but it's kind of fun to have on. Mini map rotation, I see a lot of people have this setting off, but me personally, I get so confused when my arrow is the only thing moving on my map. I like to have my map moving and my arrow corresponding to my map movement, so I always have it on. But for people that have it off and you don't know about it, I recommend you turning it on. If you have it off and you're used to it, you can just keep it off. Your weapon auto cycle on empty, I recommend having this on, just so whenever you run out of ammo on a gun, it'll automatically change you to the next weapon that has ammo. It kind of saves you time from having to lift your finger and pressing triangle to switch guns. It's just a good little setting to have on. Auto sprint, I recommend you have this on if you plan on controller, because you click the left button a lot in these games, and that is what starts to diminish your controller, and it starts to give you like hard times when you're trying to run and it doesn't run, or it just hitches a lot. It's because you're pressing in on your L stick consistently and it's wearing the button down. So and most of what you do in this game is sprint, so you might as well just turn the setting on. So instead of having to click in L to sprint, you just have to push it. Just use it regular and it's going to be an auto sprint. And if you want to just walk softly, just crouch, and then it's going to automatically just give you a crouch. So it's no reason to have this off and then you just spamming your left stick. You might as well just turn it on. Double tap the sprint. Just go ahead and turn this option off. Please, nobody turn this on. We're not playing Minecraft. You're gonna get clapped in Apex if you have this setting on. The jetpack control settings, this is for Valkyrie users, and I don't really play Valkyrie, but when I used to play Valkyrie, I found it a lot better to toggle it so it can be flying by itself while I'm doing other things on other pieces of the controller, so I don't have to limit my finger just to hold an X. The income damage feedback, you need to have this on both, because it's just easier to see how much damage you're doing, and it's easy to get confused on how much damage you're doing if you don't have it off, if you don't have it on. Now this setting right here, taking damage, close the death box, you need to have this off, simply because if you're in a fight and you're trying to get a shield swap off while you're fighting, you can get your shield swap off. But if you have it on and they shoot you while you're in the box, before you get to the shield, it's going to automatically kick you out the box and you're going to lose the fight because you don't have time to get the shield swap off. So I recommend you have this setting turned off so you can get your shield swaps off without it kicking you out the death box because you're taking damage. The pop-up setting, I recommend you guys have this on, just because if you don't know, if you're a veteran to the game, you don't really have to have it on. It's just showing you what the what attachments do to certain guns, like the turbocharger for the Havoc. It's just showing you that it makes it shoot faster over time. Streamer mode, it doesn't really matter if you're not a streamer or anything like that. The streamer and anonymous, you don't really have to worry about that. Now the usage and all of these settings down here, I just like to have these on because it's showing me how much packet loss and how much latency I have on the server. Is just showing you at the top of the screen, so it's just really useful to know how bad or good the server is doing at that time. All the rest of these settings are user, is just based on what you want or what you like. I'm not going to tell you that these or do something different and make you better. Some people like to change the colorblind mode because they feel like it makes the enemy easier to see and stuff like that. I really don't see a difference, so I'm not going to tell you and lie to you and say that changing your color will make the game better. Alright, now on to the controller settings. My button layout is not none of these that they already previously created. They didn't have the button layout that I wanted. I usually play tactical on Call of Duty, which is just crouching with the right stick and meleeing with circle and shooting with the tops instead of the bottoms. So I like to shoot with the tops instead of the bottoms because the bottoms you have to pull the triggers all the way in to get your shots off, and it's just kind of time consuming because in games like this, milliseconds count. Shooting to the pulling to the milliseconds actually count, and you just want to get your shots off as fast as possible. So if you want to take these settings right here, you can. I'll leave them on screen for a little bit. Alright, now to the stick layout, I recommend keeping it on default. If you've been playing on default for all your life, there's no reason to switch now. If you're switching, you're going to put yourself at a big disadvantage because you got to learn the new left and right sticks. The interact or reload button, just have it at the last option. Tap to use and reload. It's just basically making switching guns and reloading one tap. Just tapping square to reload or pressing triangle once to switch weapons. That's all it is. The crouch button, you want to have it on toggle because you don't want to be having to hold down on your crouch button to stay crouched. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage. You're losing a finger on your controller that you could be using to aim or do something else with it. I don't recommend putting any option on hold unless you're on the aim option. See, on the aim option, you want to actually have it hold because you're in battle and you don't want to have to keep clicking buttons to make your gun do different things. You don't want to have to click L1 or L2, whichever one you use to aim, and then when you want to stop aiming, click the button again. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So for the survival slot button, I recommend you have this on just for heat shields and the mobile respawn beacons. It just really it's just a quicker way to send them in instead of pausing the game and pressing on it in the menus. It's just a quicker way to send them things in. I mean, sorry about that. Alright, so the L2 and R2 button dead zones. So right now I had it on max because I was tried before to make this video and I didn't make it. But you want to have this on default. The dead zones, basically if you're shooting with the bottoms instead of the tops, it's just trying to show how sensitive your buttons are until the action is actually done on the controller. If you have it on default, you have to hold down L2 and R2 all the way for the button to actually do the action that you're trying to do. But if you have it on max, the slightest touch or press of those bottom triggers will do the actions. This is good for people that don't want to switch to the tops but also want to have the fastest reactions when shooting. I keep mine on default though. So the menu cursor speed, I recommend putting it right to where I have it. It just helps you loot the death box faster and just getting around the menu and things faster. If you have it up too high, you can't get what you need in the death box fast enough because you're gonna be all over the place. If it's too slow and you need to get a shield swap off, you're not gonna be able to get that shield swap off in time before you get killed. It's just good to have it right here. It's a good amount of speed to the cursor. It's not too fast, it's not too slow. Now, I used to use AOC settings, but I didn't fully understand them, and I was crucifying my aim. Like, I was with the regular settings, I was getting used to getting used to shooting people and controlling my recoil and everything. But if you go to the AOC settings and you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna severely damage your accuracy and your muscle memory to what you have already learned. I recommend, I like using 6.5. I like looking around faster than what I looking around with aiming, just because if I want to hit a quick 360 without aiming, I can get a quick turnaround and I can have my ADS coming at not too slow but very high because I'm good at controlling my recoil. Per optic settings, I mean, I don't recommend you have it on. Then you gotta learn which optic is faster and slower based on what you have it on. I recommend you just have it off, and then your look sensitivity ADS will be the same for all of your optics. Your response curve. Now this right here, a lot of people use classic, but classic does this. I'm gonna show y'all on screen right now what classic does. If you put your aim response curve on classic, this is what it does. If you tap your right stick slightly, it's gonna keep moving. I just tapped it and it's continuing to move slowly. It's not moving that much, but it's continuing to move. But if you was to keep it and put it on steady, it doesn't have that moving effect no matter how much I tap it. It's not moving by itself. I'm tapping it and it's not moving. Tapping, it's not moving. It's just, I guess, I don't know what they were doing with that response curve. It said that's how classic respawn games feel, but I play on steady because I don't know. I don't think it's on my controller because I'm on PS5 now and it was doing it on PS4, and this is a new controller, so I don't think it's stick delay. So look, dead zone, just keep this on none, really. Actually, this might be the reason it was drifting. It says prevent your stick from drifting when you're not touching the stick. Yeah, have this on none. You only need to increase this if your controller has a lot of drift and you don't want the controller to be drifting off by itself. Movement dead zone, just have it on small. Inverted look off. And whether you think it's weird or not, vibrations off really does help, so you can keep steady aim without constant vibrations coming into your hands. And it's just easier for me, at least, to have the vibrations off when I'm shooting somebody. Onto the video settings. I like having my brightness all the way to the max, because I just adjust the brightness on my monitor display if I feel like it's too bright or not. So I just like keeping it all the way up so you can see all the people that's camping in dark corners and all that stuff. FOV ability scaling, I don't really understand too much what this is, but I just have it on enable. Sprint view, you want to have this on minimal so your screen's not moving around a lot when you're sprinting. It's really annoying to have your screen moving a lot. It doesn't really hinder you in battle, but it's good for your screen to be still while you're running. Alright, so master volume, it needs to be all the way up just so you can hear everything that's going on in game. You can hear if somebody's crouching and walking behind you. It's just good to be able to hear everything. I only have the sound effects volume at 0 because I'm in a firing range while making this video, and there's a lot of sounds going on in the firing range, and it was gonna keep going over me talking, so I just have it at 0 because I'm in the firing range. But you need to have this on 100 if you're in game. Dialogue volume needs to be at 100 because the players in game, they give you hints on whether it's third parties happening or not. And it's great to know Bangalore is one of the legends where if you're fighting the team and another team starts shooting at either one of y'all, she says third party incoming. And it's important that you hear that because it's letting you know that a third team is coming in and you can get out in time, or you can finish that fight really quickly and get to the next fight. It's just good to have a little extra help in the bag. Music and lobby music, I just have it all the way on 0 because I can't hear my friends most of the time because the menu music is too loud. It's not really hindering in game or in the lobby, but for some people there is a glitch that at the end of the games the music start playing before you even won the game, and it's good to just have this all the way on 0 because you won't have that problem anymore. Disable voice chat. If you're in the game chat and you're trying to talk to people, you need to have this off. If you don't want to hear anybody, you just need to turn this on so nobody can hear you. And incoming voice to chat text. You don't really need to have this on if you got a mic, but even if you don't have a mic, you can text in the chat in game and people will see your message. There's no reason for you to be needing a message to be heard by anyone else. So those are all the settings that I use currently, and I don't know where this came from because I did not put this down, but those are all the settings for the people that wanted to see my settings video. I want to thank y'all for watching, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all on the next one.